Get your popcorn ready. It's time for Public Health at the Movies. In this fun new series, we look at movies from a public health lens, chat about what we like about it and what we can learn from it. Today, we start with a bang with 2005's Waiting, and we welcome our own James D. Smith to join the discussion. He's the Food and School Safety Supervisor here, and I know he'll have a lot to say about this one. Health code violations, anyone? All that and more coming up on Health is Real.
All right, everyone. Remember, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a little extra here on Public Health at the Movies.
Woo!
How's everybody doing? I've got my co-host here, Andrew Stinson. Andrew, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here, Zach.
Fantastic. And wee woo, it's the sound of the food police. We've got James D. Smith, Food and School Safety Supervisor here at Franklin County Public Health. James, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here, and I hear that this is a first of a series, so it's an honor that you chose me, and let's set that standard high or low.
We'll see, won't we?
Yeah, we will see. So the premise of this podcast, as James sort of alluded to, this is a new idea we're trying here at the health department, but we're in different varying forms. We're big fans of movies here on the podcast. You know, we're I wouldn't say cinephiles, but you know, we're bordering. You know, I don't know who gives that title. Who's to say? But we talk about movies here that we can apply to a public health lens or that have naturally occurring public health elements in them. And it would shock you to know that public health is a large part of this world. So movies aplenty that public health applies to. For this first episode, given James's background in food and school safety, we had to go with a movie that sort of we could look at from a food safety angle. And that movie is 2005's Waiting with Ryan Reynolds and Justin Long. Guys, what a film.
It's a good one to start out on. Out of all the options you gave me. Sorry, guys.
Material rife with things to talk about from food safety. Written and directed by Rob McKittrick. Mr. McKittrick spent 3 years in the restaurant service industry, specifically Bennigan's. He was down in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
And a lot of this material that he wrote for the script came from his time there. And I do want to state something right off the top here as we talk. And fun fact too about McKittrick. Also, he went on. He did Waiting and the sequel, Still Waiting, which was a direct-to-video follow-up release. Shocker, did not do as well as cash grab straight-to-DVD sequels tend to go. But he went on to co-write the movie Tag back in 2018, which was the movie with Ed Helms and Jeremy Renner and a couple other people. I think Jake Johnson.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that.
about the friend group who played a game of tag. I actually very entertaining movie. I saw that on a vacation and I thought that it was a delightful film and the use of editing and everything, and that was great. So this is also an ad for Tag. Go watch that. But we need to say this right off the top with Waiting, and not all movies will engender a response or a statement right off the top, but there is a lot of things that happen in this movie. It is definitely a period of its time from 2005. Normally I don't try to speak for others, but I think everyone in this room is okay with me saying that both Franklin County Public Health and all of us also, we do not endorse any of the words, statements, or actions that occur in this movie. This is a sort of gross out movie and everything. So we don't endorse any of these activities or anything. So this is not a sign of support from either the agency or us individually. There are topics of this film that certainly people could delve into, talk about, and really sort of get into, but we just can't. But just know that there's a lot in this movie that we don't co-sign, but there are enjoyable parts, and that's the theme of these upcoming podcasts will be we're not here, none of us is a professional critic. We're critics of other things. We're not professional film critics. So oftentimes you'll see us focus on, we're going to talk about what was done well in the film and what we enjoyed, what we got out of it. And then we'll talk about what if Franklin County Public Health was a character in this story, or, existed in the realm of whatever universe is created in the film. And this movie is indeed a wild ride. So just some background on it before I get some thoughts from my co-hosts here today. Filmed in New Orleans and other parts of Louisiana. Filmed at a repurposed Bennigan's, so there's some authenticity there. So the Bennigan's sort of attachment is strong. The through line of this movie is it is a sort of a slice of life, day in the life film. And there are two sort of driving storylines. The main character, if you want to really break it down, seems to be Justin Long's character. His sort of inciting incident, what sets his day as different from everything else, is he is offered a assistant manager position, when really actually the true inciting incident might also be the sort of reception of, it's attached to the reception of receiving news about his classmate who he was in honors classes with, receiving his degree in electrical engineering. So between those two things, between this news of his classmate and him being offered an assistant manager position that day, that's, he spends a lot of the movie sort of like wrenching between these two, like this decision of, assistant manager, do I just go or do something else? Or is this, that sort of thing. And then the other driving storyline is a new employee that's just starting that day at Shenanigans. Sorry, I don't think I've said the name of the restaurant yet. Shenanigans, very close to Bennigan's, is our restaurant. So Mitch is starting his first day at Shenanigans, and he is paired up with Monty, played by the legendary at this point Ryan Reynolds. A man
Legendary.
I looked at him multiple times during this movie, and I said, this man owns a soccer team now, and he is very, very successful in business. So it's just kind of wild that these things, it's Van Wilder that he was okay, I'll leave.
Does he still own the gin company? Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he still owns aviation. So it's Mitch's first day. He's been paired up with Monty, played by the indelible legendary Ryan Reynolds, and the day very quickly shifts to that of a normal training day to Mitch being very nervous about a particular game that they play. And we can only say that. So they play a game and Mitch is nervous about it. So between these two storylines, those are sort of what's happening the entire time. There's, jokes and comments aplenty, but I want to, that's the setup and start of our scenario. I want to get your guys' thoughts. We're going to talk now about sort of what did we enjoy about this film.
I enjoyed trying to figure out who the main character of this movie was.
I get you, yeah.
At first, it was like, okay, Justin Long's character is the main character. But then very quickly, it seemed like it was Ryan Reynolds who was like leading the charge all around the restaurant. So,
and I bet you James has some thoughts on this, but that's very interesting. So I'm sitting there watching this last night, and you're right. There is a sort of main character off between, and I actually think that it's Justin Long and Mitch, because in sort of writing terms, those are the characters that the most stuff, like the most transformation happens to. And between the two, Dean, who Justin Long plays, I think he goes through more transformation than Mitch does, even though Mitch has his own sort of arc transformation. But it's so, James, like I noticed as every time, Mitch is nothing but a device to get Ryan Reynolds on screen. Like there is never a point in this movie at the restaurant. There's a couple when he's watching the training video. He's forced to watch that training video. But Mitch is just, and played by John Francis Daly, who does a great job, by the way. He is just a delivery vehicle for our eyeballs, for Ryan Reynolds to be there. That, what do you like think about that sort of thing?
I think there's three main characters.
Oh,
and it's the three that we talked about.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So because they're the only three that they have a through line to the end.
Yes.
Each one of those three has a through line. Obviously, I think Dean is the main character, and then I think Mitch is right there because Mitch is the stable.
Yeah.
He's the stabilizer of this movie.
Yeah.
So everything that occurs is kind of centered around Mitch or Mitch's presence. So just because he's there, it's like they have to explain what's happening or the game or, hey, this is what we do here, or all of the cursing, they're just screaming at Mitch for no reason. So because they're having a bad day. So I think that Mitch is actually more of a main character than Monty.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree with that. Monty, he has his own miniature through line, and there's all sorts of other storylines going on in this too that have arcs. Like we've got Calvin, played by Rob Benedict, going through sort of this cowardice thing he's got going on that, again, we can't speak too much on, but I do agree with you that Monty sort of falls in there, and then he, we'll talk about the ending of the movie here in a little bit. But for all of this movie's stuff that it has going on, it's very, if anybody out there who listens to this does end up watching Waiting and just like, what did you, wow, you recommended like a wild ride of a film, if you take it from the place of, yes, this movie for a lot of reasons is a timestamp from 2005. And if you think about when sort of, culture shifted a little bit and we started asking questions about some of like, what happens in society and the behavior in society, it's only about 5 or 7 years after this movie, which is crazy because it's like this movie is like the height of like, wow, they did that on screen. It's they did all this insane stuff, or they showed this, they showed that part of the body or something like that. But McKittrick, if you think about it, wrote this based off of experience in the 1990s, like working those restaurants. I think maybe even the late 80s into the 90s. I can't remember, but he had these ideas for a long time, and so a lot of these experiences are held over for that time. And to me, one of the best things that this movie does, and it does so unwittingly, is it acts as a sort of, if you are at all into the debate about what comedy should be, and we can't say this anymore, versus the argument of like, well, saying some of the stuff that you want to say or used to say decades ago is, you just need to come up with more clever jokes or comedy. It's not about just saying the word. This is a fascinating retrospect for that debate, no matter what side of it you're on, in my opinion. And I think that, I was watching it and I was like, oh, there were several times where I'm like, okay, so the joke line is just the thing, the name that someone was called, or that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a timepiece and it's a good debate starter.
So to add to that point, I totally agree with you, but then I think there's something else about this movie that I saw last night. I think there is this air of satire to it. Mm-hmm. So every character is a caricature.
Yes.
So I don't think that these are well-rounded or developed characters, and I think that is intentional. So it reminds me, have you ever watched Girls?
I have not watched Girls.
Okay, so Girls is the same way. So I feel like that this movie was based off of experience, mm-hmm. and that each person has a little bit of each character in them. So then they made it a caricature, and that is driving the comedy. So I think there's some satire to it because I don't think it's offensive. It's very offensive, but I don't think it's trying to be as offensive because there is some points where like, okay, we get into some feminist things in there.
Yeah.
In one point of the movie. And I think that's when it really clicked for me that they're like, wait a second, everyone that we've seen kind of sucks. And I think that they called it out. And so then I think that was kind of the point for me. So I don't know, though. I look at things through a satirical lens all the time. Yeah. So to me, I like to find satire in everything.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point. The forefathers of this movie, and I think there's even a thank you credit to one of them. The forefathers of this movie are clearly Clerks from Kevin Smith and Office Space. Mm-hmm. And I like what you said about the characters, and they're not like, obviously these characters are very bad people, and they, like a lot of them are just very bad people, but a lot of them are sort of like not fully fulfilled. Where you look at a movie, even Clerks, for some of its like sort of edgy humor and stuff like that, the characters do have, and they are well rounded. In Office Space too, those characters, to me at least, are very well rounded. But the thing. The reason why I think this choice is made is because this cast is huge and stacked. Like this is like, I mean, you've got Ryan Reynolds, Justin Long, Koechner, like right either off, if not off of, like within years of Anchorman, right? Like there are people just Dane Cook, which no matter how you feel about Dane Cook, that this is him almost like at the
Peak?
near
Right.
peak or end of peak.
And that's why I wasn't sure why he wasn't in more of this movie. I was expecting to see a little bit more Dane Cook, knowing that 2005 was kind of like his shining moment, and he was kind of in the background for most of the movie. Like he only had a few lines, so I was
the trivia said that he got to improvise all of his lines. They
Oh,
were
is
not
that right?
written. Yeah, so someone on the trivia referred to it as like a glorified cameo, like like a super special cameo, because it's just like you get to do whatever you want. We're gonna show you in it and that sort of thing. I mean, Andy Milonakis, which people don't know,
That is wonderful.
huge on MTV back at this time period. I mean, again, Alana Ubach. I hope I'm saying her name right. She's currently on the TED TV show, and people like love her. I mean, we didn't say it already, but Anna Faris,
She was peaking right around now too. I mean, well, she had a second peak with Mom, but this was all the scary movies. Then she was getting ready to go into House Bunny not too long after. So yeah, so this was a stacked cast, and I think that could be part of why Dane Cook didn't have a bigger role as well, because who do you give the bigger roles to in this movie?
Yeah, and the cast is like we talked about. It's huge, it's stacked, and to be quite honest, they did a pretty admirable job handling everything. Like it is not easy to juggle a cast this large and to get everybody's point of view in, to get them featured in the action, which is not artificial. This movie does an admirable job at doing that. So I'm glad that you, again, James, great stuff and thoughts. Like that's not something I had right off the top of the mind. I was like, yeah, this movie does handle that, because it feels like now we get a lot of ensemble casts and stuff like that, and you just like, oh, they're just sort of like inserted in there.
they're there just so they can say that they were in it, right?
The
Just
New
to put it
Year's,
in.
the New Year's Eve, the Valentine's Days, where it's just everyone has like 5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. Now, what about it? What else do you guys like? I want to hear.
I like that this. So you were talking about the storyline, and I'm not a cinephile by any means, and it's really funny because I only date cinephiles, so it's really weird, and because they're always very frustrated because I'm like, oh, this is great, and they're like, what? But so to me, what's really funny is I thought the lack of storyline was my favorite part. So there's a little bit of storyline, but this is just a movie that just is. It's a day in the life of. And I think that's why it garnered its cult following. And also why it caught my attention is because it was just, I didn't have to think too hard, to be honest. I just sat back, enjoyed the ride, gasped at a lot of it. It was like, oh, what? Oh, no. And just really went along for the ride. And for someone who takes about 5 hours to watch a 90-minute movie, I got it done in 2.5 hours. So that says something for me.
That's great. That's fantastic. I have questions, but fantastic.
It's ADHD.
That's why I'm writing that down right now. You ADHD? Okay. So wait, let me ask both of you. Have either one of you ever, I will come off right at the bat. I worked in food service as a cafeteria worker, but never as like a restaurant worker. So very different, like some similar stuff, but different. Did any of you ever do food service in
I worked
your
at a
life?
grocery store, which is not quite the same.
Not
but
quite the
a little
same.
bit,
You
but
look like a grocery store worker. And I mean, that's like possible.
That's the worst thing anyone's ever said.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. But I could, yeah, you look like my local
This man
grocer.
was voted most attractive grocery worker in the region 3 years running.
Congratulations.
This is the first I'm hearing of that.
Listen, take the wins.
It's great. I will
the
take
wins.
it. I will take it.
No, I worked, I did food, but it wasn't like this. It was at Sheetz. It was convenience store stuff.
Gotcha,
And
yeah.
like we made like fast food kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I had all my friends worked in the restaurant industry, and they clamored over this movie. They were obsessed. And so that's how I watched it the first time.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because when you research this movie, people refer to it as a cult movie, and I saw that and I was kind of surprised at first, because to me, I think of cult movies and I think stuff that's like that was misaligned at the time, or like maligned at the time, but now is loved, like something like The Big Lebowski, or because people kind of didn't get that. My favorite is a cult classic, Miami Connection. Please go watch that. It's fantastic. Just movies that are just so out there, and this was a major release. I didn't go over it, but box office numbers wise was made for $3 million. It made it back in spades. $18 million here domestically, $16 million overseas. So it made like over triple, or no, over 10 times. I'm sorry, way over triple, over 10 times its cost back. And that's not even counting DVD sales. And everybody had this movie on DVD. Like, you would go over to people's houses and it was just there. And to go back to your original point, James, the reason when I dug into it, people from the restaurant industry, there's some stuff that varies there. Like, I've never seen anyone sort of do anything bad to food, but like everything else though, like spot on. You know, the one of the things that makes this movie special in its own regard is it does really capture, you know, we all talked about how we all worked retail in some essence just now, right? There's that essence of you feel like you might be stuck in life, and then you're also just in between feeling like, what am I doing here? You're just also making fun of your coworkers and being made fun of by your coworkers, just banter back and forth, and what it's like to be in that environment. I think it captures that really well.
I agree.
Thank you, Andrew.
You said $3 million is what they made this for?
Uh-huh.
Well, that says a lot about the cast, because that means that a lot of these people we talked about how they're big names, they must have not taken a whole big paycheck
or that must have been the whole budget.
I mean, that speaks to that they wanted to be a part of something like this.
If you think about it, this is pretty contained to just a couple locations, which means cheap.
Right.
You know, you're shooting at a closed down location. I would guarantee, God, what did they have to pay for a couple months of shooting there, if anything? No, I was wondering about this too. Like, what would make Justin Long or Ryan Reynolds, again, on the Van Wilder come up? Like, what would make these folks do this? I'm sure the script might have been fun. And I just got to wonder if this was like them thinking, like, this is our Animal House, right? Like, this is our sort of fratty, like, movie that gets remembered by a generation. And though it's not a movie that's talked about a lot today by those standards, it certainly doesn't get brought up like the way Animal House used to. A lot of people fondly, restaurant workers are like, God, it reminds me of those kitchens in my 20s and that sort of thing. So it achieved a lot that it was trying to do.
I liked the Naomi character, who was just angry all the time, but then she'd come out and she'd be so smiling and so nice to the customers, and then she'd go back into the kitchen and just yell at the whole staff.
Yeah, Alana is great. She's fantastic. Great A yeller. What about? I was going to ask who everybody's favorite character was. Who's yours?
Ooh, gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, I really like Anna Faris's character. I forget what her name is.
Serena.
But
Yes.
I think she's just the most level-headed. So I think whenever all this stuff's coming on, she's like, come on, guys. But then she still allows it to happen. She's like, I'm no narc.
Yeah.
You know, but she's like, I'll try to talk a little reasoning into you. But then she's still a good time. She's still that good time gal, but, you know, she's going to put a little reason into what's happening or try to talk to your conscience a little. So I like her.
So we've done a really good job of talking up what this movie does well in relation to the characters. We're in parts where this movie were very difficult to I'm like, wow, what a timepiece. There were two characters that I think were just perfect casting and execution, and they are John Francis Daley as Mitch, who doesn't get a word in edgewise all day, and he's not only just from like, he's the perfect casting look for a character like this. He's like the fresh faced, like kind of dweeby guy, and just does, and like has this explosion at the end of, and he does that fantastically. Nothing but great praise for him. And then I believe Chi McBride as Bishop. Yeah. I want to talk about him with you guys for a second.
I love Chi McBride. I believe it was Boston Public that he was on. I think it was the Prince. That was one of my favorite shows. Not that I quite understood it at the age, but I was obsessed.
Yes. He is the dishwasher in this movie. At first, I thought he was a cook, but he's actually revealed later in the movie as he's yelled at by Naomi to be a dishwasher. For the things that this movie does, a great choice is by saying, like, you know what? The most intelligent and emotionally centered person at this restaurant is going to be the dishwasher, the lowest on the totem pole. He is the wise Sherpa.
I will tell you from inspections, that tends to be true.
That's crazy.
That is accurate. So a lot of times when I'm doing inspections, and I know we haven't got to this part yet, but When I'm doing inspections, a lot of times they'll ask the dishwasher stuff, or the dishwasher will walk around with us or try to help us, and the dishwasher will have the answers to all the questions.
Oh, that's okay.
That's
amazing.
the inside scoop right there.
And
is.
okay, so now we have to like McKittrick probably knew that this is not like a choice to be like, you know what, we're going to glorify the little guy. This had
It's
to be
from
a thing.
experience,
Okay,
probably,
this is great. So he has Shy McBride. I'm going to read this quote off word for word. He has this great opening line. So Monty is taking Mitch back to the kitchen staff, and the kitchen staff's this rowdy crew and stuff like that. And he gets to Shy McBride. He's like, this is Bishop. Shy McBride pulls a cigarette. There's also a lot of smoking in this movie. we can talk about 2005 in restaurant smoking. Shy McBride takes a cigarette from his ear, lights it, and he says, Mitch, I want you to do a couple things for me. First, I want you to observe very closely your surroundings today. Take everything in. Leave no mental stone unturned. He says untoined. Leave no mental stone untoined. Can you do that for me? And then I want you to think about what your life would be like if you had been born blind. Like, I lost it. I was like, that's so funny. That legitimately may have been my biggest laugh from the movie, because I was like, you're not expecting that. And there, no matter how you feel about the subject matter, there is some good writing in here in terms of like the dialogue and delivery of it. Like, it was written from a person who I think McKittrick was creative in this script. There's just this insane bit of exchange when Justin Long, Dean, goes to his mom's house and she's asking him about how college is going.
That was a great part.
He goes, yeah, I have, I'm taking like 2 courses right now. And just weirdly, like these guys, these 2 professors I have, they both have mustaches. And his mom responds instantly with, that's wonderful. So I'm like, I'm watching and I'm just like, wait, huh? And I'm like, I'm taking that down.
I have a question. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So now that brings up, which one do you think is the better mother, Monty's mom or Dean's mom?
Oh,
that's a great question.
God, that's a great question.
I have my answer, but I want to know yours.
Well, we don't see a whole lot of either of them.
Correct.
Right?
We
Just
don't.
one big scene for each, I think.
Monty's mom is played by Wendy Malick, who is recent is in Shrinking as Harrison Ford's like sort of doctorate. She's fantastic.
Stellar.
And she's so good in that she plays it so well off of Ryan Reynolds' smarmy, like one quip one-liners. It's like, oh, you see where she gets it from. To answer your question, I don't know. On one hand, at the setting of this movie, Dean's mom, I believe, is acting just a little bit more out of pocket in the sense of like she's sort of being passive aggressive about the whole like, oh, he's your classmate and you got a degree in electrical engineering and you should be doing it too. And then there you have a respect for Monty's mom because he is this sort of like I don't know what you want to call him, but this fast quipping machine. And she's going toe to toe with him, and she's also being very honest about like, you're kind of a wreck, and like I don't think it's a good idea that you have children. Like I would say at the setting of the movie, Monty's mom is the better one that comes off better. But if you think about it in totality of the universe, I think Dean's mom did a better job raising
based on
him.
what we saw.
Yeah.
I like Monty's mom for that. But if you think about who that would be outside of that one scene,
how that man became what he became,
right.
Obviously Monty's mom plays a role.
What do you think?
Monty's mom.
Okay.
I think she's the better mom. And obviously Monty is a very problematic character. So I'm not basing this solely off
Wait, really?
Just kidding. No, he was great. I'm not basing this solely off of the characters, but I'm basing it off of her ability to meet Monty where he is and talk to him the way that he needs talked to. And I think whenever he has his turning around moment, which is problematic as well, I think that is intentionally there post her. So I think she knows how to get through to him. And I think that she's still very protective. So she's calling him out. She's being honest.
Yes.
She's telling the truth. And Monty has a lot less anxiety versus Dean. Dean seems to be a little bit more not on a path to me. Now, Monty, not on a good path, but he has set his path and he has more confidence.
He knows who he is.
Yes, he knows who he is. That's exactly a good way to put it. So I think that Dean's mom has disserviced him and has placed expectations from other people upon him.
Part of the thing that makes this so 2005, similar to what you're saying, now I'm coming around to your side of the understanding. Like in addition to being sort of like passive aggressive and trying to push this anxiety-ridden man that she's placed out in the world, because it weighs on him the entire movie. Like he is wrapped up in indecision. He is so caught up in this world, of this decision that it paralyzes him through most of it. But the biggest reason outside of the language and humor and all of that stuff that this is a timestamp on 2005 is that this movie ends with Dean deciding to not take the assistant manager position and to quit. And it's not said outright. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's said outright, but it implies he's going to focus on his education or focus on like bigger and better things, like going on to bigger and better things and getting sort of out of that life, which to me would imply continuing on with his community college classes. And if you think about where we are now, and if you think about the things that have happened to specifically all of us in the millennial generation and things of that nature, promises made and not kept about if you went and got an education, if you went into debt. I watched it and I just said, oh my God, this is everything that this is a millennial timepiece, because it's that whole thing of like, yeah, I'm going to go work on myself, get a job. And if I work hard and get a job and cut these shenanigans, literally, like I'll be okay. Like I will be okay. And now we know at this point in time and period, that is not always true. And it is becoming harder and harder and harder to do that. So
Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to Dean.
Dean, okay.
Go to the second movie. He has a cameo. I'm interested to see the second movie, though, because he said that the second movie is wildly offensive and he's ashamed to be a part of it. So,
Justin Long?
Yes. So that is
Maybe
interesting.
they had to up the ante more.
Yeah,
Not
so
a
I'm
second.
like,
I haven't seen it.
If he said that about that one, I'm like, oh.
Maybe that is how they skirted, because I wonder if they had to get, I wonder if by releasing it on home video, they got around rules somehow and were able to do more that they couldn't do. But yeah, I did not know he was in the second movie.
Brief cameo.
In my mind, Dean is the CEO of a tech industry, and he's the problem. He is exactly the problem. And you know what, Monty? I think this goes back to the mom conversation. I think Dean is siphoning the earth of his resources as the CEO of like an AI company, and I think Monty is reformed. I think Monty is reformed. So I'm going to ask you guys a question in terms of the box office release. I'm going to give you 4 films, and I'm going to ask you which you think was top of the box office. For
And which week was this? Week of what?
Opening week, October 7th, 2005,
Gotcha.
so fall. What film was at the top of the box office when Waiting premiered? Is it A, In Her Shoes, B, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, C, Flight Plan, Jodie Foster film, and D, Two for the Money? So what say you of those options? A, B, C, or D?
C was Jodie Foster Flight Plan, you said?
Yes.
I'm going to guess that.
This is a class consensus. I'm going with Flight Plan as well.
The answer was B, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Wallace and Gromit.
I feel like the brain defaults to C, and so I was really trying to get you guys. And plus, like Foster, like Jodie Foster, so that is 2, right? Like that is 2.
Okay.
I just honestly, I know Wallace and Gromit, but I didn't think that they were a huge draw. I thought it was kind of like
Same.
third place movies all the time.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is British humor, which Americans consistently are kind of underwhelmed at. And nope, it was.
I guess it was October, so
That's
People will
big
see
Halloween
anything in
draw.
October.
yeah, and it's the what was it, the werewolf one?
Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Other films in the theater that week, or at least drawing box office, were something called The Gospel, Corpse Bride from Tim Burton, filled out at 7 here. Serenity, Into the Blue, and A History of Violence at 10.
Oh, that was a crazy movie.
So we've got through the film side of things. We've got through all of our thoughts. Do you guys have any more before we switch to the public health angle? Because this is going to be really James heavy.
Oh Lord,
I'm
are
ready.
you
Will,
ready?
we will.
Are you ready? No, it's it was a fun movie. I'm glad we started out with it. Obviously problematic in some spots, but
James, as you were watching, were you like keeping track of like health code violations that you were seeing?
it's what every one of these on.
Oh, he's come prepared. He's ready.
I was, and what's really funny though is they really circle back to like the same 4 violations over and over and over. So it cracked me up, and I was like, "Oh, that's just how they operate here.
Just normal for them.
That's just their thing."
So this is truly public health at the movies. Well, no, not public health at the movies. Public health in the movies.
Ooh.
We're putting James in the world of waiting. You live there now. You
Awesome.
sometimes frequent shenanigans before you worked at the health department.
Absolutely, it reminded me of my long lost Bennigan's.
So, James, I'm going to let you take the lead here. What do you want? You can go over the violations or like what? Well, let's start with this. What would Franklin County Public Health do to shenanigans if these things were real and happening?
Okay, so because there's processes, I can't just say shut them down, unfortunately, for some of the things. I would address everything on site. I'd be like, you here, then I'd be a manager, come here. So we would be doing a lot of talking. Yeah, I would love to shut them down now. But it would take a lot of enforcement for that. But we don't like shutting places down, just to be clear. But this place was gross and disgusting. So
Yes. Go through what violation. I want to hear the
All right.
violations.
Well, I want to bring up a few things. It's really interesting though, because whenever we inspect, like a lot of this stuff we do see as far as the actions of the characters, as far as the language, the fighting, the screaming. We see this while we're doing inspections. So it's very interesting to me. And I think that's also why I took to Monty's mom, is because one of the biggest things we do is we meet people where they are. Okay. We meet people where they are. Not everyone understands everything the same way. So we meet people where they are. And so I think I found like a respect for her in that, because I was like, that's what we do. I've had a few operators I've had to talk to like that for them to understand, but that's only a few. So that was very interesting to me. Mm-hmm. As far as violations, I think we can count about 1 million. That is a specific. I counted specifically
Not an estimate.
Not an estimate. It was 1 million times that they needed to wash their hands. The chicken, the game, the dropping everything on the floor.
I should have just kept a tracker of how many times the food hit the floor, because there was a lot of food on the floor.
A lot.
Yep. It wasn't Luis Guzman's character. Radimus, what a name, said floor spice is oh so nice or something like that. Oh, tough.
5-second roll. They almost had to go to the 10-second roll. That was my favorite part. And I was like, oh no, there is no end in sight, is there? But so it was just every time they played the game, crazy enough, I was like, are you going to wash your hands? Are you going to wash your hands? Like, I didn't even care about the game. I was just like, wash your hands. And then the raw chicken, that was just disgusting and a whole thing.
Yeah.
The ice machine, whenever he's taking the screwdriver, and they called it an ice pick, but it was a screwdriver when he was like banging the ice. Dean was. I was like, oh no, stop that. Because I'm just thinking like, is there oil on that screwdriver?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, no, don't do that. Every time I saw someone outside with an apron on, I cried. It was a long night for me, guys.
Yeah. So, wait, let's stop there.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to wear an apron outside?
No, because, well, one, it could be the elements, but two, usually most people going outside are going outside to either smoke or to take the garbage out. And so they're dealing with the garbage. A lot of times you got to hop up on that dumpster or you got to lean over. How many times have they dropped a garbage bag and stuff comes out? And the garbage area is not the most clean just because it's garbage. So, no, you're not supposed to do that. So that was very interesting to me because I was counting those as well. It was not quite 1 million, but it was like 37.
That's still a lot.
It's way
basically
too much.
$1 million.
It's basically $1 million in this line.
We can round it up to 1 million.
Yes, that's how rounding works.
Yeah.
So even though the scene wasn't real, whenever the fire start it, and then the two busboys
Oh my
threw
God,
the gasoline
push
on.
Dan.
Yeah. I was like, that's not how you put out. And then I was like, oh, it's gasoline. So then I was thinking of like, one, if that happened, you're supposed to call the fire department. So I'm just thinking automatically, I'm like, they shouldn't even stay open after this. And then it cut, and I realized the guy was dreaming. And so I was like, oh, well, I guess they don't have to call us. I guess it's not real. So in the bathroom, they didn't take off the aprons. Aprons, man. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just like the thing that I took away the most was hand washing and meeting people where they're at. And so I think they did the hand washing really bad. And I think Monty's mom did really good at meeting someone where they're at.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So given what you saw with Shenanigans, what do you want to say about working with restaurants here in Franklin County in comparison to what you saw at Shenanigans?
They are nothing like that. And I hope that none of them are. So if you are, please change. I'm just kidding. Reach out to your local health department and we will be glad to offer you a consultation. No, I would say, honestly, most people want to do right. And we have really good relationships with our partners. I even had someone from Fairfax, Virginia come in and be like, wow, your restaurants are really clean compared to anything we've seen over there. So I think Franklin County, both the health department, the inspectors, and the restaurant should be very proud of themselves because it really is a good place to go out to eat, have safe food, and we don't get a lot of pushback. I mean, obviously people, will be bummed out when they have to throw things away, but we get a lot of good operators who work with us and they want to do the right thing because they really do care about this industry. And so I think it would be interesting. Well, I guess there's the bear, but I was going to say waiting in the perspective of just from the cooks, but cooks who are actually level-headed, who aren't these characters because they really care. So when something gets sent back, it's not like, oh, screw you. It's not like that. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's make this right. So
Any other thoughts before we close out here on waiting? Is there anything else you want to talk about? You all left me waiting for an answer. I'll never stop.
We have to do that.
We'll never. This is the only episode of Public Health at the Movies.
when does this come out? I'll be waiting.
No.
Oh.
Joke's on you. Never. Just kidding.
Waiting forever.
No. Well, James.
Yes.
You provided such good insight from the food inspection side of things. Really quick before we take off, is there anything you want to add just in general? This is your chance to let the world know what James D. Smith thinks.
Oh Lord, give me a second. That was intent. You're putting a lot of pressure on me here. So what do I think? You don't want to know.
On any subject,
whatever. Don't even go down that road. You will regret that. That cutting room floor.
It's going to take me so long to edit this episode.
Sorry.
It's all good.
No, I just, you know what? If you're listening and you're in the food industry around here, just know that we do appreciate you, honestly. We appreciate you. We're here for you. We have your back. We're customers. We're public. We're general public. We respect what you do. And I want you guys to all know that we come from a place of respect and we appreciate you.
I love it. Well, that is all. The movie has wrapped, folks. The credits are rolling. Got to give credit to our guest, and you're coming back, by the way. You have no, you have no option. You are coming back.
Okay, I would love to.
We will give you a film that we can more quote and talk about what's going on. James D. Smith, thank you so much for being our guest. My wonderful co-host, Andrew Stinson, the editor, the board man. The board man gets paid. Board man gets paid.
Great to be here as always, Zach. I love this idea. I hope we can do some more of these.
I hope so too. And I'm Zach Watson. Good luck out there, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Health is Real podcast from Franklin County Public Health. We want to hear from you. Email us your thoughts at fcph@franklincountyohio.gov, and we might respond on a future episode of Health is Real. And also be sure to follow FCPH on all social media platforms for the latest updates.